guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Professor X, and today we are going to continue our discussion on subject-verb agreement rules. Okay, so are you ready? I bet you are. Okay, so last time we discussed the first 5 subject-verb agreement rules, and as I promised, I am going to make a 4-part video for this particular topic. So let's continue with part 2, and we're going to have another 5 subject-verb agreement rules today, okay? Now, we are going to do the same strategy just like what we did before, but for those who are new to my channel, so what I normally do is I post the sentence here, and I would let my audience guess the correct answer before I explain the rules, all right? So let's get started. Okay, so the first 2 sentences that I'm going to show here are the following. The first one, 1/2 of the melon are eaten. That's the first one. The second one is 50% of the trainees are from NCR. So what do you think is the correct verb for number 1 and number 2? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds to guess the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. So what do you think is the correct answer? 1/2 of the melon are eaten. 50% of the trainees are from NCR. So number 1 sentence, the correct verb is. Okay. And for the second sentence, the correct verb is are. All right. So why is the answer is for number 1 and are for number 2? So what is this rule? Now, this is what we call rule number 6. Rule number 6 is for fractions and percentages, the verb takes after the noun given after them. So what are the fractions or percentages here? For the first sentence, it's 1/2. That's fraction. For the second sentence, that's 50%, right? So again, for fractions and percentages, the verb takes after the noun given after them. So what is the noun in the first sentence? That is melon, right? And melon, is it singular or plural? Obviously, it's singular. Therefore, the verb should be in singular form, which is. Okay? Get it? For number 2, still, it's a percentage. And then the noun for number 2 is trainees. And trainees is a plural noun. Therefore, the correct verb should be plural, which is are. Okay, so 50% of the trainees are from NCR. Now, what if I'm going to use for sentence number 1, I'm going to use students as the noun. 1/2 of the students, is it is or are? What do you think? Definitely, it's are. Okay, why? Because the noun there is students, all right? How about for number 2 sentence? What if I use 1%? 1% of the trainees are from NCR. So is it still are, or does the verb change to is? What do you think? Of course, it doesn't change because the subject is still plural, which is trainees. That's right. Okay, so that's rule number 6. Now, let's continue. Let's have another sentence. Everyone are attending the concert. Again, everyone are attending the concert. So what do you think is the correct verb? Is it is or are? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the correct verb is. Ta-dang! It is. That's right. So why is it is? Okay, this is what we call rule number 7. For rule number 7, these are what we call indefinite pronouns. Now, indefinite pronouns can be identified as singular or plural. So for that particular example, the indefinite pronoun there is everyone. The question is everyone singular or plural indefinite pronoun? That is a singular indefinite pronoun. Therefore, the correct verb should be is. All right, so everyone is attending the concert. So what are other singular indefinite pronouns? So it can include each, either, one, anyone, no one, nobody, someone, etc. All right? So these are what we call the singular indefinite pronouns. Now let's have another example. A few have attended the training. Again, a few have attended the training. So what do you think is the correct verb? Is it has or have? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. The correct answer is have. Okay. So why is the verb have? So this is what we call plural indefinite pronoun. So a few is considered or is called a plural indefinite pronoun. So what else are plural indefinite pronouns? So it can be both, many, others, and several. So these are examples of plural indefinite pronouns. So since these are plural indefinite pronouns, they should take a plural verb as well. That's why a few have attended the training. Okay, not has, it should be have. Because sometimes we think of a few as singular because there are only very few, but it's actually a plural indefinite pronoun. Okay, get it? Okay, so now let's continue. Let's still have indefinite pronouns. So I have here two sentences. Sentence number 1, all of the students were present. Sentence number 2, all of the homework are due today. So the question is, what do you think is the correct verb for statement or sentence number 1 and sentence number 2? I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. All right, so let's find out the answer. So for sentence number 1, all of the students were present. So the correct verb is were. Okay, so how about sentence number 2? All of the homework are due today. So what do you think is the correct verb? It's is. All right, so for sentence number 1, it's plural. Why? What is the real subject here? The real subject is students. All right, so it's plural, so it has to be a plural verb as well. For number 2, for sentence number 2, the correct answer is because the subject here is homework, which is a mass noun or uncountable noun, and normally uncountable nouns would take a singular verb because they are singular in nature. All right, so these are what we call variable indefinite pronouns. So remember the example I had in part 1? Okay, none is also considered to be a variable indefinite pronoun together with all, some, most, any. Okay, so these are variable indefinite pronouns. So what do you mean by this? If it is a variable indefinite pronoun, the subject varies. Okay, so for example, in the sentence earlier, for number 1, it's students, it's plural. So the verb is plural. For sentence number 2, homework is singular, so the verb is singular. All right? Is it clear now? Okay, now let's have another sentence. Suits is my favorite TV series. Suits are my favorite TV series. So what do you think is the correct verb? I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. So what's your guess? The correct verb is ta-ding! It's is. How does that happen? How come it's is? Suits is with S, so it means plural. So what rule is this? So this is what we call rule number 8. So when you say Suits, this is a name of a TV series, right? So for title of books, title of movies, TV series, etc., they always require a single verb. That's right, you heard that right. So for example, another sitcom or TV series is Friends. Friends is plural. However, that's the title of the sitcom, so it would take a singular verb. All right? Do you get it? So that's rule number 8. Okay, moving on. Let's have another set of examples. Sentence number 1. 20 meters is what Paolo jogs every day. Sentence number 2. 2 years is too long to wait for you. Oh, that's very dramatic. So what do you think is the correct verb for number 1? And for number 2, I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. So for number 1, for the first sentence, what is the correct verb? The correct verb is. All right. How about number 2? What is the correct verb? The correct verb, is it is or are? It still is. Okay, so for both sentences, the verb is singular. Why? What is this rule? Okay, so this is what we call rule number 9. So what is rule number 9? When we talk about amounts, distances, measurements, they always require a singular verb. Okay, for sentence number 1, that is 20 meters. That's distance or measurement, right? So it is. For sentence number 2, it's 2 years. Okay, now even if the subject, let's say 100 years, it still should take a singular verb. Okay, 100 kilometers. Okay, so that is still a singular verb. And also for money, for example, for amount, $1 million. Okay, so you have to use a singular verb still. Okay, so again, amounts, distances, measurements always require a singular verb. Now let's have the last rule. Before that, let's have the 2 sentences. The first sentence, an old friend and colleague of ours are meeting me for dinner. That's sentence number 1. Sentence number 2, my mother and my best friend are coming to the party. All right, so this kind of complicated. I'll give you 5 seconds to guess the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. Okay, so what do you think is the correct verb for sentence number 1? An old friend and colleague of ours are meeting me for dinner. The correct answer is ta-dang, singular. It's is. Okay, let me explain that one later. Let's have sentence number 2. My mother and my best friend are coming to the party. What's the correct verb? It's are. Right, so that's plural. Why is it that the first sentence is singular? Or why does it have a singular verb? Now, the explanation here is the word and, the conjunction and. Now, the word and, when referring to the same subject, it requires a singular verb. When it refers to different subjects, it requires a plural verb. So meaning to say, the first sentence only refers to one person or one subject. And old friend and colleague. That's why it's singular is. So it's the same person, meaning to say it's the same person. Well, on the other sentence, or the second sentence, my mother and my best friend refers to 2 people. Mother in the second person is best friend. Therefore, it's plural. Now, how would you know if it is only referring to one person or referring to 2 people? All right? So you have to take note that, for example, for sentence number 1, you see that between and colleague, there is no pronoun or an article, right? If you don't see an article or a pronoun between and the second subject, okay, or the second noun, it means it refers to the same person. Hence, it should use a singular verb, okay? Number 2, you can see here that between and best friend, there is a pronoun, a possessive pronoun, my. Meaning to say, if you see that one in a sentence, the sentence refers to 2 people. So mother and best friend are 2 different people, hence you have to use a plural verb. Okay, so there. These are the other 5 subject-verb agreement rules, and I hope that you learned something today. And I'm also pretty excited to know how many scores or points you got in the exercises that we have today. All right. So that's the end of the second part of subject-verb agreement rules, or part 2 of SVA rules. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, and of course like and share this video. And if you want to be notified with the videos that I upload every single week, please click the notification bell. Thank you very much, and please watch out for the part 3 of SVA rules that will be coming up in a few days. Thank you very much for watching again. Bye bye. This is Professor X. See you next time.